Hi, this is Chris from the Stephanie Miller Show. Please enjoy this exclusive clip from Political Voices Network.
Look, I've seen some of these Democratic governors say they're going to stand in the way. They're going to make it hard for us. Well, a suggestion: if you're not going to help us, get the hell out of the way, because we're going to do it. So if we can't get assistance from New York City, and we may have to double the number of agents we send to New York City, because we're going to do the job. We're going to do the job without you or with you.
To our discussion we were just having, you said all these Democrats abandoned the working class are just people buying into Republicans' framing of every issue. Democrats didn't sell how they helped the working class as well as Republicans sold their lies, but they sure as
Stephanie Miller.
Sure as didn't abandon workers. Thank you. I mean, that's got to be part of the discussion. I'm not saying we should be like, oh, la, 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 everything went great. Of course it didn't, but the reasons why are critical, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry. All we did was actually pass policies that help the working class.
Thank you.
Instead of just talking about how the working class, is being mistreated.
Right. Yeah.
I guess we should have said yes, everything's still crappy for you, even though we're doing things that are giving you jobs, raising your income, and everything else. And sorry about the worldwide inflation.
And who talks down to people more than Donald Trump? He's called women dumb bitches. Mexicans rapists and Puerto Ricans garbage, which, by the way, your piece entitled America is a Floating Island of Garbage. Very nice, my friend. Just as happy clappy as I would expect.
It was written the day after the election.
But, do you mind if I'm not reading it for you, I'm reading it because clearly we're a nation that doesn't read.
No. You know what? I'll unzip and be ready while you read my words to me. What is better pornography than you reading me back?
Your brilliant words. No, but it is like we were saying. It's driving me crazy. The knives out and the infighting, and this exactly. Good job continuing Russia's work, right? But you just said, about all of this going on. Some of them will blame Harris's failure to offer definite support for Palestinians, condemn Israel's genocide in Gaza. They'll say that failure suppress the Arab American and Muslim vote, as well as turning off Gen Z, turning into the slaughter on TikTok, and lefties who wanted an excuse to pretend to be edgy by not voting or voting third party. They'll blame Harris support for supposedly woke ideas like support for diversity, equity, and inclusion policies. They'll say she was too left. They'll blame Harris for reaching out to Republicans, even campaigning with objectively awful people like Liz Cheney just because they too hate Trump. They'll say she was too far right. Anyway, she embraced Biden too much. They'll say she embraced him too little. They'll say she didn't do enough to cater to this or that Democratic group or constituency. They'll wonder if she should have picked Pennsylvania Governor Shapiro instead of Waltz. They'll say she should have done Joe Rogan's show. Every single decision by the campaign will be questioned and criticized and torn apart. They'll say Joe Biden should have remained the candidate, even though that would have meant another 3 months of Biden's two old stories that were already turning the electorate against him. They'll say Biden shouldn't have run at all, allow Democrats to nominate someone after a bruising primary fight, but there's no guarantee that would have changed the vote. They'll call out Russian interference on Election Day with bomb threats called into multiple locations in black majority districts. They'll say disinformation like fake Haitian voters was spread by malicious nations, eager clout seekers online. They might even blame third-party candidates, although that math doesn't add up, and on and on and on. They will find a way to blame everyone and everything, everyone, except those who deserve the blame. And just take it home for me, right?
Yeah.
What about the people that voted for this despicable rapist criminal?
Yeah, and that's the thing that I talked about this last week is that we're sitting there trying to really suss this out, trying to really dig into what do they want, and we can't accept and I have gotten hell for this from friends of mine and everything else, but I'm going to say it again. There were stupid people. They are stupid. You are stupid if you vote to protect abortion rights and then vote for the person that is going to overturn the rights that you just voted for. You're stupid. Yep. And I'm sorry, that's where we need to get people. Why are they so stupid? And it's not just that right-wing media exists. It's that we have to figure out why people are so into right-wing media. Why do they believe it when it's just obviously BS? How do we overcome the lie threshold that they have set?
Right. I mean, but also you just broke it down. You said they hate what he hates. Right? They want to see retribution against the imagined foes that he's conjured. You said where we see a rapist and a felon and a coup leader, they see a Tony Soprano-like anti-hero. And you just said, let me address this to Trump voters. You are so stupid, just the stupidest mother that we're ever allowed to breed. You are so stupid. You won't even realize how badly you've everything up. I mean, I don't know what to say. People Googling after the election what a tariff is. People, Latinos going, how
can I change my vote?
He's going to deport my family. I mean, I was going to ask you as a college professor, have you seen all these TikToks of college kids celebrating Trump's victory? I'm like, are these the same kids protesting Gaza that just now made it into a parking lot made out of dead Palestinians?
You know, I haven't had students like that. And in fact, my students were they were very upset on Wednesday evening. We talked about it, and it was, it was disheartening. And some of them didn't truly understand how bad it is when I explained that that deporting DACA kids is something they are going to do. I mean, Vivek Ramaswamy talked about that this weekend on ABC. And I mean, they just, even those that were disheartened still didn't know the extent of what had just gotten elected. And during class, a student whose family is an immigrant family, her parents texted her to say they were going to move back to Sri Lanka, where their family's from, because they don't want to stay here with the hatred of immigrants that is permeating everything.
Yeah, I trust me. I know that I have friends talking about leaving. I am not leaving. This is our country, too. I'm going to fight for this country that I love too. I mean,
It'll be fun in the camps.
Guy was trying to say, Rude. I mean, again, don't feel overwhelmed. There's 76 million of us. We're not some teensy minority of people. He won by, what did we say, 3 million votes or something?
There's votes are still being counted. So.
Yeah, exactly. But you had so many great thoughts. You were talking about it. Pal is in Tennessee, is a professor at a public university. On Wednesday in theater class, a student asked if they could discuss the election. My friend had to say any discussion of political matter unrelated to the course material that day falls under the state's divisive concepts law, and thus they were banned from talking about it or he'd be breaking the law, and they moved on to acting methods, in case you're wondering where all this is heading.
Yeah. You can't just have an open discussion. If you're with a group of people in a classroom and it happens to not be, that subject for the class, you can't talk about it because, I don't know, you might make a Republican sad or something, or it might upset someone. And it's like, what's wrong with that in a college setting? What is wrong with getting upset? I used to get pissed off all the time in my college classes, and I loved it because I left angry and I wanted to learn more about it instead of just sitting there, getting spoon-fed stuff to regurgitate up later. It's like, and that's what they want. They just want you to be passive vessels for whatever is put into you.
Yeah. By the way, speaking of enough blame to go around, I don't know if this is a thread or tweeted, but you said when some historian in another country writes the story of this shameful age in the U.S., the failure to arrest Trump immediately after Biden's inauguration and then prosecute him quickly will be seen as the moment the nation was damned. I mean, that kind of is the original sin, I think, of this election cycle. And also, just speaking of which, you said, so the word is that President will not pardon his son Hunter, and you said that's up.
I agree.
Why? Because the biggest people in the world will get angry. Democrats never fully use the powers they have, while Republicans stretch it to the breaking point. Thank you. I mean, we always talk about alpha liberals, but that is one of the lessons of this. We have got to learn. We've got to regroup and learn how to fight differently. I mean, even Biden apparently has admitted that Merrick Garland was a mistake.
Yeah, but he also appointed Merrick Garland, and you know what? I would not put it past Biden that he wanted Garland to not go after Trump because Biden believed, and he campaigned on this. It was one of the things that was supposed to be so great about Biden. Was that he could work with Republicans. He could bring them to the table and make deals with them. And I think that one of the reasons for the delay in prosecuting Trump was that he didn't want to piss off Republicans and thought that they would be willing partners in advancing the country instead of just, going hog wild in blocking everything they could to try to tear back power when they had the chance.
Yeah. to your point, you said even if we do have a 2028 election, Trumpism will be a cancer that has spread throughout our country, especially in the judiciary. Any opposing candidate who wins will need to be ruthless in cutting it out of our system. I hope someone emerges on the left who has that kind of strength. Otherwise, we're never getting back what we're going to lose. And you also just were commenting on another Republican story. You said these will die trying to kill democracy. I know Gavin Newsom is emerging, Governor Pritzker, two people I know and love, that I think are, what we're talking about. Alpha liberals know how to fight, know how to fight back. So,
but we don't know. We don't know who's going to emerge. I mean, it's
it's early. It's a little early.
It's early, and you can't ignore the Obama factor kind of thing, where somebody that you never even thought is going to emerge as the front runner and get the nomination.
And I tell you, I was talking to Jody about this, that I love how, of course, Kamala Harris will be kept out of any conversation because, oh, dear God, can't do that again, just like Hillary. But look at Biden, look at Trump, men that have lost before and come back and won. But, that's part of the depressing thing being a woman today, Rude, is just the whole, what you tell your daughters. Because you're like, oh, yeah, absolutely, we can't. That goes without saying we can't. I even said Pete Buttigieg is great and an alpha liberal, but I wonder after a black woman losing, we're going to go, we're not going to try a gay president now,
There is no way that, who knows? Again, I don't want to presume for what's going to happen in 4 years. I don't want to presume what the shift in, the way people are thinking was. You know what I was thinking about in a slightly positive way? Is how after the Obergefell decision, which of course is, who knows what's going to happen with that, legalized same-sex marriage.
The only reason I was thinking we're going to keep gay marriage because Peter Thiel.
There you go.
Possibly. But who knows? I'm
because
sure
there's right-wing gay douchebags.
So I was just thinking, though, how quickly the vast majority of the country just accepted it.
Right.
And it was like, yeah, that's what we do sometimes. We adjust and we accept. And how do we get back to that? How do we get back to that where we're accepting change and not just opposing it and fearing it? And that's the other thing that I think about these voters. It's not just they're stupid, it's that they're such cowards. Yeah. Oh my God, they're afraid of everything. Every little thing. Oh my God, the Haitians are eating dogs. Oh no. And it's like, just shut up.
I thought liberals were supposed to be the victim party. That's the whole election. Is like, if there's something wrong with your life, it's these brown people. Right. Here's who you blame. Here's who you blame.
Yeah, and I'm gonna hole up with my guns because something might happen, even though Dad spent another couple $1,000s on guns for a threat that's never going to come here.
I was, to your point real quick, because as a gay person in California, Rude, it really resonates with me that, every struggle for civil rights, for everything, has had setbacks and moving forward. Part of the reason that we got marriage equality is because they took rights away from us in California. First time in history, they took the right away from people that were already married and said, you're not married anymore. And that's part of how we got marriage equality nationally. So
there's no denying it. The vibes are really good right now. But vibes alone won't save our democracy. We need votes. At the Grassroots Democrats HQ, we know what it takes to win elections. Knocking doors, making calls, sending texts, and writing postcards. If we're going to elect Kamala Harris and Tim Walz and give them the Democratic Congress to pass their agenda, then we need to roll up our sleeves and talk to a record number of voters between now and November 5th. But let's be clear, we can't do it without you. So, are you ready to work? This is a fight for freedom and our future, and everything is at stake. Don't wake up on November 6th wishing you had done more. Join us. Go to grassrootsdems.org today to sign up to volunteer, and let's go win this thing.